The following show features episodic breakdowns of Jackass, either performed by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. For your safety, avoid listening to this podcast at all times. Hi, I'm Mikey Aaronworth.
I'm Jason Wellwood.
And I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Welcome to Jackass.
Welcome to Jackast. It's the podcast where we're on a path of destruction through every single episode of Jackass.
We are three lifelong fans of the show, reliving the belly laughs, bad ideas, broken bones, and Bam Margeras.
Ooh. Well, today's episode came out on November 23rd of the year 2003.
Okay.
Yeah.
November 23rd. All right.
Yeah.
So we're a little bit in the past, us ringing in the new year in 2022.
Yeah, we backtracked forward to backtrack forward, right?
Yeah, we backtracked forward to backtrack forward. Was it Theodore Roosevelt, I believe, who first said that?
No, I actually coined that term in Thailand when I invented a pub crawl called the Sukhumvit pub crawl, where we had to hit all these little bar stands, and we'd hit like 13 or 14 after drinking all day, and then had to backtrack forward to McDonald's to sober us up so that we could continue on the pub crawl.
Is that the fun fact of the day?
No, but it should have been, because it's a lot more fun than this fact. But actually, this is a little interesting, you know? Because I'll ask your take on this a little bit later. There was actually a BBC correspondent program that came out today. So this TV show actually used like sci-fi computer stuff for the first time to try and prove the magic bullet theory in the John F. K. assassination.
Oh, shit.
And
John F. K. Okay. Don't usually hear it said that way.
John F. Kennedy. Oh, yeah, fair enough. Well, JFK.
I didn't know he was killed by a blender.
Ooh.
That's actually news to me.
But yeah, so they were saying that it's actually possible. They confirmed it by some stupid computer shit, which obviously is bullshit. And yeah, him and Epstein were just sitting around. You know, there's no conspiracy there whatsoever.
And this is when we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. It's conspiracy.
What do you think about the JFK thing? I've always been fascinated by it.
You know what? I know that I'm supposed to have an opinion on it. I honestly couldn't fucking tell you what happened, what the theory. All I know is that he got shot and there was a grassy knoll somewhere in the area. I don't know. Like, I've never thought about those theories. I just feel like it's a kind of like it's a dark corner of American politics that if I look down, I'll never think of the same way. So I'm just like, I'm good. I already know of MK Ultra as a real thing. I don't need any more actual theories in my mind because the United States government is fucked up.
But you know what? In all fairness, everything was running smoother when they kept doing this shit and everybody stopped finding out about it all. For everybody.
Everybody?
There was jobs all over, like the auto industry, everything.
Says the three white males in a podcast studio that everything was okay back then. Yeah.
Hey, I didn't say shit. All I know is that I'm here to talk about Season 1, Episode 5 of Viva La Bam. Apes and Phil's special weekend. Yes, Mike.
Yeah, I gotta say, guys, not a question. This is a comment. And I've kind of been saying this in the last few Viva La Bam episodes as we've been doing it. I think each of them have kind of gotten better as we've been going. This one felt the most to me like what I remember Viva La Bam being. Just set out with a weird premise. I love the fact that some of them land and some of them fall completely flat. Like that is also an element of Viva La Bam that I remember. And also, as we're going, Ryan Dunn features pretty prominently in this one. And I feel like episode to episode, we see the length of his beard grow. And with the length of his beard, the development of his character and his evolution into the Ryan Dunn that we know is growing on screen in front of us. And it's an amazing feat to watch.
I love this. It was just fun. While I'm watching it, though, I'm thinking, like, it's so different than what we do on our podcast, talking about specific things and ranking them. There was 3 things, and they took time to build. And like you said, some hit, some didn't. But it was just so fun watching this whole thing. You know, like, that's why I'm like, we'll be able to have a good conversation without getting too derailed, trying to break everything down this time and just have some fun with this episode.
I was finding that with some of the episodes of Wild Boys where it was so rapid fire that it's like, and then there's a Tasmanian devil. No, actually not that one because that's a great one. But then it's like, and then there's a bird that's called Sarcophilus satanicus.
Yes, damn it.
Yeah. And then it's like, here's a salamander that's blind, but it's its ass. Okay, move to the next one. There's a bird that sounds like bukkake. Okay, move to the next one. It's like, there's not much to say. This one we'll be able to get into, especially when it fails. I think there's a lot of fun to be had in those quote unquote pranks.
I actually named this the first prank. So I would like.
Well, let's let Jay lead us into it.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, you mentioned the beard on Ryan Dunn growing with episode to episode. Since Chris was not here last episode, he was absent from class. Mikey, maybe fill him in on your beard scale. I'll dive right in here. Mikey has a beard scale, by the way, a facial hair scale.
I do have a beard scale, Chris. It's 0 to 100. 0.
Oh, you're actually going to fill him in on
I
it
have to because the listener may be new as well.
We're rolling this
you
again.
You guys are pretending like you guys think like I didn't
Lucky.
listen to the episode. Do you think I'm going to miss an episode and not listen to see the shit that you guys talk about me?
That's
when
true.
I'm gone?
That's true.
It's the first thing I want to do. But anyway,
we did add
the
blue. We did add the blue soul patch to your face as we talked about on the YouTube video. If you haven't seen us on YouTube,
when I saw that.
You can go watch that.
Listen,
it's a quick scale. It's 0 to 100. 0 being no facial hair, 100 being a soul patch, and Ryan Dunn though along the way is at about I think a 3 or a 4. So there's a lot of steps in between, which we won't get into. But it is a very serious scale.
Yeah, one day maybe we'll crack that
Special,
nut. But for
special
now,
episode.
we're cracking into a 3-day long weekend where Ape and Phil sounds like they're not going to be home for some of that time. So shenanigans will take place. Let's get to skating. Bam's out with the boys and hitting the vert ramp, doing some skating. And Bam is sporting the old short sleeve over long sleeve here.
Oh yeah.
Forgot that was a style. That took me way on back to the old mid 2000s. But eventually they get bored.
But here's the thing. Of course they get bored. And this had me wondering because everyone goes to the backyard. How much of being Bam Margera's friend do you think, in terms of like the amount of time you spend as his friend, is made up of him saying, I'm going to go do something. Come watch me. Because
I was just
they're skating around and everyone's
like okay. Right. That's so funny.
Yeah, exactly. He's always got a plan, and it feels like nobody's in on it until it's fucking on, and then you just jump in or you get out. But they're off to Vito's house, which is apparently Bam's old house. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that
there you
either.
go.
Yeah,
Vito's just fucking mooching off those MTV dollars, I tell you. He sends Ryan Dunn and Rab himself to take care of Vito, take him out on a bit of a boys' date. They're going to spend the day together and do some shit, and I can only presume Bam is going to steal the pie cooling on the windowsill while Vito is distracted. But no, that's not what's happening. They're digging Vito a brand new hole, and this hole is a tunnel into Don Vito's bedroom. And this violates so many health codes, but I love this. And I remember getting so stoked for this episode back in the day when I first saw it, because just the idea of secret tunnels, man. I don't know.
I agree.
It's like a dream come true. Every young boy wants to tunnel in a secret tunnel, to explore, discover, get a little dirty,
Hey, what would you do?
In our DNA.
What would you do if in the process of these guys trying to dig a secret tunnel into Don Vito's place, they found a secret tunnel that he used to like bring kids in and out of his room?
Okay. Whoa.
I mean, we know he did it. I'm not saying anything crazy here. But here's one thing that I will say. We're introduced to someone in this one because the whole premise is, as you mentioned, Jay, while he's being distracted for a night out, they're going to dig a tunnel in. And it looks like they start at like 11:30 in the morning and they don't finish till like 2:30 in the morning. It's crazy how much time they spend digging. But one of the first people we're introduced to is a guy who kind of gave me a new perspective on an earlier episode in this season, an episode that none of us really liked all that much, when Bam Margera has the party at his place to kind of show off all of his money to his extended family. We're introduced to someone in that episode called Compton Ass Terry, and we were talking about how it's kind of a problematic name, how it's like you just call like the name of the place and then the name of the person, and that was the first time we'd seen that, and we're like, oh, I don't know, this doesn't age very well. But now we're introduced to Seth from England. So fuck me, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Bam only knows how to do the country or the area someone's from and then the name of the person, and that's the only thing about their personality.
You can only have one friend per area.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to get confusing otherwise.
Exactly. And they're digging a 30-foot hole, which is AKA, I would say, probably half of what Don Vito's grave will be when he's buried. Actually, he is buried now. So.
It's with shovels, too, is the crazy part. They're just using shovels, man. All by hand.
They did not realize how hard this was going to fucking be, eh?
No. But that led to the best part about the sketch, is just finding more and more time and more ways to keep Don Vito distracted, knowing damn well the whole time, he knew clearly the whole entire time something's going on, and he's clearly
100%.
being kept away. And imagine the anticipation and the anxiety building, wondering what the fuck they're up to. But then by the end of it, you could tell they're just getting drunk. They're at the bar. They're dancing. They're having a good old time. You know, he gets a little chokehold on Dunn. It was just, it was fucking fun, man.
I was going to say the whole time I was like, Ryan Dunn seems like a good fucking hang. He just seems like a cool guy to be partying with. And in this is like the coolest I've seen Dunn to date from all the Jackass episodes and the movies and all the Viva La Bam episodes until he gets choked out by Don Vito and he becomes like a little kid again. And then he gets up and punches Rab in the face for no reason. Yeah. Like it's just, he loses his mind. I was like, oh, you were cool, my man. You were cool. But
Mike, you think about that the grip on that chokehold felt like the dad strength when they squeeze your leg and you have to piss yourself. So imagine that dad strength with, especially a fat dad, grabbing like the inner thigh, you know, that like that thing, but doing that to your throat. That would be a pretty scary moment, I would think.
Dude, I was almost impressed by how intimidating Don Vito looked in that moment. Like he was kind of scary. I was like, I don't want to be on the other side of that.
Yeah, I mean, they have quite the night out. They do end up at Hooters at the end. That's the bar they're at. And there's a part where he's talking to the waitress, and he says he tries to order up dogs. Hot dogs, what's up, dog? The waitress was supposed to say, what's up, dog? I think that's what he was getting at. You can't understand Vito, 50% of the time as it is. I mean, good joke, Vito. Jesus, like, you think that was going to win her over. I think the smell, that Vito is emanating is just making that waitress regret her current career trajectory. You can just see it on her face. She does not want to be there next to Don Vito. Sorry, buddy. There's a part though where they're starting to get a little wasted and they're dancing on the dance floor and it's like Night at the Roxbury except Vito's the hot chick, like a little Vito sandwich.
Yes.
Love that.
We'll call it a Vito hoagie because I feel like he loves those things.
They're really trying to rebrand Hooters, like not rebrand Hooters, but like get it bustling again. Like they're really in the midst of some like massive media, what do you call it, like marketing campaign.
Oh yeah,
because they're really trying to revitalize it. It's like a lost haven for just dudes that just want to get some good food and some drinks.
Bad timing on that one, eh?
Yeah, bad timing. There's a movie theater. There's a movie theater that I walked to in Toronto, and on the way to the walk, you pass by a Hooters.
That's still there, right?
Yeah, it's still
like
there.
Richmond
it's still, right near Scotiabank Theater for any of you from Toronto, for the two of you from Toronto listening to this. But it's amazing because more entertaining than any movie I can see at the theater is walking by the Hooters and looking in the window and just seeing the type of person who still goes to a Hooters. It's baffling to me.
Dude,
but there are a lot of them. You'd be surprised.
Did I ever tell you the story when we were kids? Like my buddy, I'm not going to say his name obviously, but his family took us to the snowboard show and we're going to the snowboard show and we're on our way home. And out of the blue, his dad's just kind of like, man, I'm a little hungry. You guys want to grab something to eat? And we're all like, yeah, man, we're starving. He's like, oh, whatever. We'll just pick the next place we see. He's like, right after he said that, he's like, oh, there's a Hooters over there. Maybe we should go check it out. Like, I've never, why don't we check out a Hooters? And me and my fucking buddy are like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Hell yeah.
And we're with his mom and his brother and everything. And he walks in, we walk in, and the first thing that happens is the hostess goes, oh, hey, Leonard, I haven't seen you here in a while. So he scammed the whole entire thing, pretending it was just a completely random fucking, next restaurant we'll see. He knew damn well where we were going.
Amazing.
Totally got booked in it.
That is the biggest dad move I've ever heard in the world. I picture him walking in with tight blue jeans and a white shirt tucked into those blue jeans with a black belt holding it up to right about his navel. Did I paint a picture?
Man.
Yeah.
Cutting back though to the backyard, it's 2 a.m. and they're getting pretty far with this hole. I mean, they've got to the point now where they're actually crawling in the hole. There's a shot of Rab crawling through the hole, or sorry, not Rab, it's Raytheon crawling through the hole. And that just looks claustrophobic as fuck and dangerous. When I was a kid, my friend lived on a farm and they had this big excavated pit. And this was one of those years where, Canada, huge snowstorm to the point that the pit was just full of snow. And I remember going over there and we dug a snow fort down into that pit. And it was like this big covered tunnel slide.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was this gnarly fucking snow fort. But that feeling of being like underneath layers and layers of something, earth, snow, whatever, and digging, I've experienced that. Dude, it's fucking... Like if you even think about what you're actually doing and the fact that it could just like collapse on you at any second,
100%. There's nothing holding up the dirt. It looks terrifying. Like when Rake goes in there. First of all, seeing Rake on a night vision camera. Let's never have that shot again. It's fucking awful. I never want to see.
Oh yeah,
Rake
raccoon
yawn.
eyes.
It's raccoon eyes. His hair going everywhere, and you see him in that claustrophobic area. I was like, no, I don't want anything to do with this. And the whole time I was surprised no one died. Maybe someone did. Maybe Seth from England perished in the tunnels that day. I don't know.
That's why we never saw him again.
That poor, right? Yeah, that poor fucking guy makes the trip from England. He's like, hey, Bam, good to see you. I got about 36 hours here. And he spends 12 of them digging a fucking tunnel into a pedophile's home.
Yeah. Man, speaking of Rake, though, on night vision cam, that's like a sex tape waiting to happen. Oh, man. You ever see a raccoon come?
I've heard it quite a few times, but I usually wear that, you know how the raccoons have that little bandit mask over them? I do the same without the eye holes cut out, and I just listen to them.
All right. Well, while you're all thinking about Rakeon night vision, there's more happening. We got to get Vito home after all. You know, he's getting a little tipsy. The boys all are. You can tell sitting at the bar there. Dunn looks a little bit finished. It's the kind of drunk that's like, 2 a.m. I'm not having a good time. I'm tired. I just want to hold my hands in my head in my hands and think about my big comfy bed. He's ready to go home. So they take him home. Just as the boys are finishing up, they pull away, they get Vito home, and he goes to bed. I thought for sure they were going to pop up and do the whole thing, middle of the night or once he fell asleep. But we get a subtitle, a cut here, the next day. So looks like they waited. They gave him a little bit of a buffer. Now, here's where, you're expecting a big, surprise, pop-up, scare the shit out of Vito, shenanigans, madness. Really not a whole lot happens here. It's kind of underwhelming. Not gonna sugarcoat it here. You can hear the floorboards creaking above them as Vito moves around. That's probably the most exciting it gets. Like they're
and
just
the
trying to hold back
for
laughter.
them, probably.
Yeah. And they basically just come through the floor and say, Don Vito! And they flip the square of carpet over and that's it. Vito insults them.
And you can tell,
nothing really happens.
That while they're out there trying to film and get a reaction, like nothing's coming. And they're realizing that all of that work, like maybe the most amount of work that Bam has ever put into a stunt just completely failed. Like with no real redemption. And it's not like when they did we talked about this on an episode of Jackass where they dug a pit, or maybe it was CKY. They dug a pit and then Phil drove his lawnmower over it and fell, and it was kind of like underwhelming, but that was kind of the comedy of it. This just felt like Don Vito turns to him and is like, you guys are crazy. And another weird situation where I find myself agreeing with Don Vito, which is never a comfortable situation to be in, but he was right. They were crazy and nothing really came of this one.
That's what I liked about it again, though. I was the one that was a big proponent of the tractor thing that you brought up just now anyways. But there's something about, like, you want to see a prank go really well, but I also don't like being pranked. So when people put all that time and effort into something and it just fucking backfires, and they're all sitting there like, fuck, man, we just wasted a whole day. I find funny in that as well. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like, I can't believe we just
they
fucking
look so
did that.
Disappointed.
And Don Vito didn't even get startled for a second. He was like, what the hell are you guys doing here? What are you guys, fucking idiots?
I do love
that was funny to me.
Yeah, to touch on what Jay said about how, like, the best moment was when Don Vito's walking and the floorboards are creaking. It is amazing that they dug a 30-foot claustrophobic hole underneath a house. And the scariest thing wasn't being underneath a house. It was being underneath Don Vito.
That one kind of just, it caps off. It doesn't go much further. They are on to, I guess, segment number 2 of the episode. We got a lot of time left to fill, so they're trying to find a way to mess with April this time. And Vito's got his, so Bam, he hits his head on the mailbox, and I assume that makes the light bulb go off in his head because he's got an idea. Now, boys, you remember when I said there's a Pimp My Ride, Viva La Bam crossover happening at some point, like 10 episodes ago or whenever that was? This is it. This is the moment we've been waiting for, as Rab himself laughs maniacally and drives Ape's PT Cruiser to the shop. They put all the blame on Dunn here, which I love. They told Ape it was Dunn's idea, and just him. when he finds out on camera, he looks so disappointed. Like
he looks legit scared.
Yeah. He was like low key Ape's favorite friend of Bam's, and now he knows he's moving down that tier list.
Can we pause and just like reflect on what she said when they said
Chris? 100%.
Like, that's not the most foreshadowing situation I've ever heard in my life. She literally, as I wrote it down, says,
she says, "Why
she said,
would
Ryan Dunn, the person that flipped more cars than Evil Knievel?" So obviously, this wasn't just a one random situation. Yeah. He was apparently a reckless, wild driver from time, because this was years before anything actually happened.
It was a big thing because it was like obviously read as a joke at the time, and you're hearing it with hindsight, just going like, "Oh shit, not great." And Ryan knows it too because he's like, "Ape knows I took it. She hates my driving," and you know, I've never ever thought to say that. Like my driving is totally fine. It's boring, but it's no one would ever say I'm a bad driver. That's because I'm a just straight down the line driver. To be a bad driver, you have to be a fucking bad driver.
Yeah.
So, sounds like you guys are presenting evidence that maybe this might have something to do with Ryan Dunn's ultimate demise.
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
All right, settle down there, Hardy brothers. We got more work to do. All of that just for that crappy joke. Really, Jay? Come on,
I like
Jay.
it. Listen, I love it. I mean, when you weren't here, Jay, when you were on vacation, Chris and I were calling ourselves the Wild Boys of the Jackass podcast because we kept having stories about vacations that we'd been on. So we could either be the Wild Boys or the Hardy Boys or the Wild Hardy Boys or the Hardly Wild Boys. Whatever you want. We'll be whatever you want us to be.
Yeah, and if Chris is still giving out hand jobs, we could be the Hard On Boys.
The Hardly
hand jobs.
Good job, Chris. I had one thing that I wanted to point out to you guys, and I think I did this the last time there was sort of a reference to a.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. It's like I cannot connect the fucking dots these days. You'd be better off without me.
He's talking to. I know he would. He's talking about his COVID brain fog. Chris and I are both dealing with that as we struggle on the opposite end of a COVID diagnosis. Just like half the fucking world these days.
Yep.
If this podcast even makes it out and the world hasn't ended yet, who the fuck knows? But here's the amazing thing is that Jay, you mentioned how there's kind of like almost an homage to Pimp My Ride. This episode came out in 2003. Pimp My Ride didn't start until 2004. So,
oh really?
Yeah. This whole
talk about the Hardy Boy over here, eh? Holy
right?
smokes.
Yeah. Which one are you?
I'm the hunky one. Is there one with a mustache? I don't know.
I'll look it up.
Yeah,
I'll look it up and let
gay
you know.
one.
You keep.
Sure. I mean, he looked good.
fine.
I'll take it. Probably got more action than I get.
I think
so.
at this point, all that really matters is really like physical appearance, right? That's what we've taught ourselves.
It's all I've got going for me, so I don't know what you want from me. Here's one thing I love. So they do like all these crazy things to the car.
Inside.
They lift the car. There's nothing on my inside. I'm dead inside. Okay. They lift the car, add flame decals. They got a new horn. They got a new stick shift.
The stick shift is the best.
The stick shift is so funny. But the funniest part about this has nothing to do with the car. They go to Ape and Phil when they're like getting their behind the scenes discussion of what's going on. And Phil comes out to talk to Ape and he's got a shirt on with a fucking hamburger on the shirt from season 1, episode 1 of Viva La Bam when they ironed all the hamburgers on. Like those keep making an appearance in this season. And every time it does, I laugh my ass off. That's amazing.
That's a good find. Hardy Boy. I love my favorite thing about this was when they do the big reveal is Ape just stole the show here. She was fucking such a good sport. She was literally laughing. She enjoyed it. It was like a prank that she didn't know what to expect, and she got a good kick out of it. She said something like, "I can't believe I got to go to a wedding," and she couldn't even say those words without bursting out laughing. Which I love when the people at her prank could appreciate a good prank. You know what I mean?
Man, her and Phil just seem like the two, they just fucking play along. And I guess why not? They know MTV is going to pay for whatever the fuck they want to fix. You know, for the camera, maybe she has to drive that once a week for like a scene in an episode. But she's probably got like a Ferrari that MTV's paid for because Bam said she wants it or something like that. So sure, I'd probably be a pretty good sport about that as well. The car looks hilarious with the flame decals and like, but I gotta say, as far as PT Cruisers go, this is like the sexiest PT Cruiser I've ever seen, like almost unironically. Like, would you rather drive just a plain purple PT Cruiser or this one and own it ironically?
I'd rather take the bus.
Okay. If that's an option, I might.
You used to love PT Cruisers, though, Mikey. I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mikey, I swear was
about.
absolutely obsessed with, especially the purple PT Cruiser back in the day. I swear he legitimately had a thing about it. He always wanted a PT Cruiser.
I remember our mom was getting, for the first time in our family, it was a really big deal. She was getting a new car and she was going to get a BMW. And it was, like an entry level, if that is such a thing. She was getting a BMW. It was just like a standard run of the mill, like as an entry level one, I guess. Yeah.
It was that gray 3 Series.
Yeah, grade 3 Series. And to the point where I told my friends once, I was like, my mom got a BMW, and they're like, whoa. And they came over to see it and they saw it and they're like, oh, that's not what I was expecting. Like it wasn't a flashy one, but we're going to the dealership to get a BMW. And I said very earnestly to my mom, you're getting a new car. Have you not seen the PT Cruiser?
He tried to push her on the PT Cruiser so hard.
Yeah. Thankfully it didn't work. Because our family would have been.
It almost looks like you're wearing the PT Cruiser purple shirt too.
I am, Chris. It's homage. It's homage indeed. But I agree. I think the look of the car was great. I love Ape's reaction, and just picturing Ape actually driving around in this thing around Westchester, Pennsylvania, is just like, it just tickles me.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. I mean, everything down from the flames to the dice to the novelty horn. You got it all here. Oh, yeah. This is a luxury automobile. I love how when they reveal it to Ape too, she jumps at the sound of that horn.
Yes.
But just starts laughing. She's loving it because this is so ridiculous and not what she expected, that she just can't help it. She knows this is all for fun. This is for TV. Fuck it. I'm not going to get mad about this. And I just realized at this point when all of this happened that, yes, Mikey, I think you were correct. The parents are 100% in on the joke. And by joke, I mean like the whole show.
Yes.
And you know why? It's because not only is it fun, but Ape gets to be like a world famous middle-aged woman on national TV,
True.
aka Mikey's boyhood dream. And like when else is she going to get that kind of recognition, especially at this point in her life? Like most people, they hit that age, they're past their prime, ain't nothing happening for you anymore. She's just like all these young prepubescent and post-pubescent men and women are watching, and I'm sure a few have rubbed one out here or there. The old,
ring the bell. Ring the bell. Jay's talking about a prepubescent man rubbing one out again. Ding ding.
Yeah.
Ding ding ding. Everyone take a shot. It's happening.
Yeah, but it's okay this time because we're talking about April Margera, and that's the point. She's the star, and she loves being a star.
I agree. I mean, so she was clear. Like in the opening scene, they said you can do one thing to show off your personality, like in the intro, and she did like a baton twirl. So she was probably in some sort of like cheerleader or marching band. She probably likes the limelight, and why wouldn't you,
dude? Yeah. Why wouldn't you? And I mean that's pretty much the segment. She, that's her car now. Maybe we'll see more of it in the episodes to come. I hope so. Who knows? But that's pretty much it. But we've got one more member of the family to fuck with today. And before we get into the final segment of the show, boys, I did a quick little bit of research here on the Hardy Boys.
Okay.
While I did not find out the identity of each individual Hardy Boy, I did, in fact, find this, which I think you might find interesting if you'll direct your attention to the Discord chat.
Okay.
Should you have it open in front of you?
I always have it open. I just sit there looking at it, just waiting for a message from you guys.
I just thought you might want to see this.
By the way,
I mean, it was a different time. That's all I can say. It was a different time.
It's amazing. Oh, wow. Okay, so what we're looking at is an image called of one of the boys called "While the Clock Ticked," and it's two boys. Bound and gagged, literally bound and gagged, as a creepy old man looks at him.
I don't think that's a man. I think that's a woman. I think that's Grandma Bartoli. Bartoli's cannoli.
Yeah, but the weird part, like the best part is that he's peering out from behind a grandfather clock.
From behind a grandfather clock. Hardy Boys, written by Franklin Dixon, and it looks like this old man wants to get his dicks in these Hardy Boys.
Yeah, especially because that grandfather clock is clearly symbolic of a penis.
It's very phallic.
Look at the way
very
it's
phallic.
Yeah, it's even got a head on it, man. I mean,
exactly.
He's stroking it and everything. The boys just look terrified. Actually, really Chris, creepy. if you're the yellow one, I'd say it looks like you're going first, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, I definitely think I'd be the yellow one, to be honest. I would take it. Take one up the team and take one up the ass for the team for my bro.
If Mikey's up to the challenge, maybe he can pop that in.
I think I
version.
definitely will. I can make a note to do that. If you're watching over on YouTube, and by the way, if you haven't checked us out on YouTube, we actually splice in some of the clips from the episode that we're reviewing. So you can go take a look at that over at YouTube. Just search Jackass, a Jackass podcast, and you can find us there, or check the show notes because we put that in there as well.
Yes, we do. And I'll tell you something else. Ain't no way to wrap up an episode. No way better than with a little bit of Phil Margera. They saved the best for last here, boys. I think this is where the episode peaks, in my opinion.
I agree.
I love this. It's simple but effective. They phone Phil. Well, Bam calls Phil. And, they're just sitting in the kitchen having their morning coffee, Ape and Phil. And not much... Like, Bam isn't much for small talk. He's right into it. One color for the rest of your life, Phil. If you could pick one color, what would it be? Phil gives it a think. He says, most men say blue, so I guess I'll say blue. And then, that's not all, boys. We're getting into specifics here because Bam asks him, like what, electric blue, sail blue? Yeah, I think sail blue. Okay, well, we'll do 14782D parade blue. Wait, what's that? Okay, bye. Wait, Bam, what's the blue for?
Yeah.
He's gone.
Imagine how scared you would be if you were Phil or Pam.
Now,
is that her
here's
name,
what I love
Pam?
about this.
Yeah, you said Pam. Pam Margera.
What's her fucking name?
It's April.
Oh my god, bro, this shit ain't no fucking joke.
Pam Margera.
It's funny. You missed over one thing, Jay, that I found one of the funniest things about that conversation. When Bam asks Phil, "What's your favorite color?" and he asks, so Phil turns to Ape and asks, "Hey, April, what's my favorite color?" And so he doesn't know, which is also such a dad thing.
It's such a dad thing.
That's the most dad thing I've heard since someone tricked his family to go into Hooters.
Yeah. There you go. He's so non-confrontational about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you know what, Phil, that's going to come back to bite you. I mean, it didn't really matter which color you picked at the end of the day because Bam's going to wake him up middle of the night with a paint roller in hand, all dipped in that wonderful parade blue. Phil just wakes up like, what are you doing, Bam? He's just letting him paint. He's just sitting on the bed getting painted. What are you doing, Bam?
I thought there was a split second where, because usually Phil wakes up with this, like, as though, like, you know how they say, like a soldier in the army in, like, World War II or, like, Vietnam or something would sleep with their gun in their hands or, like, with their eyes open and just, like, immediately snap to it and be ready to go. That's kind of Phil whenever Bam's about to prank him. He just wakes up. He's like, all right, it's time to get fucked with on national TV. But this time...
He seems a little pissed.
He seemed a little pissed at first. I totally agree.
Like, man, what the hell are you doing this time?
Yeah.
But then he fully snaps out and commits to the bit, which made it so much better.
And before we leave the bedroom, Chris, I'm going to let you have this one, but just one more comment on the bedroom scene because I found this pretty funny that Phil's a little groggy. He doesn't really know what's going on. Bam says, your favorite color is blue, right? I mean, the conversation might as well have happened like 16 years ago because he clearly does not remember telling him all this stuff. You can just see like he looks so confused. I just thought that made it all the better.
I totally agree.
Anyway.
Just this moment of like of it's like you know that scene in Saw in the movie, like the first Saw, where it's like dun, 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 and like the music's playing and it's like showing you all the shots to show you exactly what happened. It's like if they show that and they just lay it down on a plate for you, and then one person in the theater's like, I don't fucking get it. Who is that guy in the middle there? Like the whole time, it's like Phil's just sitting there like, why'd you choose blue, Bam? I don't understand. It's like, what the fuck?
All right, we head downstairs, though. We head downstairs, and Chris, what is waiting for us downstairs?
Every single thing in the entire kitchen is painted blue, including Phil now, which is my favorite part is what Phil looks like. But I'm talking about like you open up the fridge and the eggs are blue. I'm talking every single detail, every single cupboard, every single item that they have is all painted blue. And there's also some kind of nice like almost like ultraviolet light or something that just really jacks up the blue effect, which was absolutely killer.
And I love Phil sitting there trying to like make the best of it. Like it's kind of decorative. And you get this scene of Phil painted completely blue, sitting at an all blue tape. Like it's the Eiffel 65 we all wanted but never gotten. And he's just sitting there just like, oh, maybe you could just have an accent. Like it'll be decorative. And Ape's like, fucking decorative? What are you talking about? But he's just trying to make the best of it. I love it. I love Phil.
That Ape gets mad at Phil as if this is all his fault. She even says, why'd you pick blue, Phil?
Like, what was his excuse? He said something about like he had some kind of decorating type thing or something along those lines, where he was like, oh, in decoration, there's like the colors, and he had some whole excuse that sounded like it was pretty smart in a weird way.
Yeah, like he's an internal design. Yeah. Like he was trying to interior. There you go. See the COVID fog.
I'm telling you, man, I can't remember
joke.
what I was trying to say.
Well, it looked like Bam had some COVID fog when he's trying to say what Phil looks like, and he's like,
oh
Phil,
God,
you look like a mix between, I don't know, Papa Smurf and Braveheart, and Phil's like, Blue Man Group, like, you fucking idiot. You missed the first one off the top of your head. Of course, Blue Man Group was the biggest thing in the world. No one wanted to do anything but travel to Vegas and watch a bunch of bald blue bitches bang on a fucking drum all day. And then go home and waste all their money on the blackjack table. I'm not sure. But they were the biggest thing. Everyone knew Blue Man Group in 2003. That's got to be your number one choice.
I think the only thing missing from this segment would have been Phil and Gene cutoffs. But
hey, never
only asked for so
Give him
much.
a little never nude.
Did you know Mike used that for Halloween before? It was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
But boys, we've made it. Now it's time for the grand finale. You thought that was it? Nope. We get the bonus box. Phil and Vito are going to be placed inside of a clear plastic box out in the backyard, and we're going to blast all sorts of things onto them using honey and bacon grease and other sticky materials. So they've basically got this big, pump hooked up and a hose, and they're just going to blast air into this thing.
Crickets
I love how they lure them in, though, of course. They say, we've got a hoagie. Vito's all about that hoagie. Like, the whole time they're explaining the money box thing to him, he's just staring at that fucking hoagie. They shut the door on Phil and Vito says, hey, give me that hoagie. Like,
he's like, seriously, there was a deal. There was a deal. I know I'm going to get fucked, but at least give me the fucking hoagie.
Don Vito is like a fucking dog. He'll do anything as long as you give him a sandwich.
He's so, just disgusting. Even after getting pelted with all this shit, there's just clips of him just sitting there eating, licking whatever's been on his face. There was maggots and fucking crickets that were just splattered all in there, and just all this grossness. There's worms hanging from different parts of his bodies, and he's just
we should say that the poetry of what they decide to blow at them, because they just kind of have these wind machines that shoot all these things at them. They got flour and cornflakes, and then they got crickets, bacon and honey, anchovies and money. And I don't know why they went in that order, but I loved them saying bacon and honey, anchovies and money. Like that I want that tattooed on me somewhere, maybe in the dent in my back.
Look, no money stuck to Vito, though, after it's all said and done. So I guess he loses, but that's okay. We're going to pour honey on him outside and just start sticking bills to his body. This is where the worms come out. Chris, you said there's worms hanging from different parts of his body. Yeah, they dump it in his butt crack. And,
and it stays.
Did anyone notice real quick?
Jeff Lato? He says Jeff Lato at some point. There's a subtitle for it. This is where they start introducing the Don Vito, gibberish subtitles into the mix. So
we
not
got
only
some of
is he
those in
just
the last
speaking
episode.
nonsense.
The one thing before we just move, I want to say I was loving while they're in there. Phil is literally just picking up money. Like,
I know.
He's like, I'm not going to miss this opportunity and get fucking free money. Like, all this shit's going on. You think, he's Phil, he's good, he's taken care of. He's like, fuck that, man. A $20 bill's a $20 bill. And he's 100%. Like very good at collecting all the money going on.
That's all he cares about. He's great. And he's still blue. Did we mention that? He's still fucking blue.
Yeah.
Do you think that was a repaint dose, or he just went back to sleep like, fuck it, I might as well go back to sleep? We'll sort this out in the morning.
I bet you he just went back to sleep. He's like, MTV will buy me new bed sheets tomorrow if I want. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I was thinking, what did they do with the kitchen afterwards? This must have been filmed at the end of the season, because your kitchen would be just fucked. Like, everything would have to get replaced.
Yeah. But you hear stories about how much MTV would do. Like, they would just come in, they're like, what do you need per $1 million? Okay, we'll do that. Like, they would just come in and just change everything. This was such a fucking moneymaker for them.
I think if we started, connecting the strings here on our little pegboard, I think there's a conspiracy happening beneath all of this nonsense, in that they probably knew their kitchen was getting shitty, and they're like, what can we do that's a prank that could ruin the kitchen so that MTV will buy us a new kitchen?
There's gotta be surprise me.
A lot of that going on.
For sure. Every episode is just like a renovation project when you really boil it down. They just got tons of shit done. Really? They eventually get a new house that they could write off, probably, in that big, huge mansion down the line, building fucking skate parks and God knows whatever the hell they want, bars. And remember that later on they build like the pirate bar. Like they just do whatever the fuck they want to do, and it's like they reap the benefits in the long term. It's great.
It's like extreme home makeover, and you got Ty Pennington just like standing there outside the mansion, like move that bus. But it's not a bus. It's Don Vito, and he's just taking up the whole screen of the fucking camera.
he makes this fucking show. Though I don't care.
Honestly, he does.
If
he
it's
does,
not for
man.
him, this is nowhere near as good.
That's
Every single scene he's in
100%
is so
true.
much better.
And can we say that I think we mentioned this on an earlier episode as well, but a lot of our YouTube comments are about how hard we are on Don Vito. We're trying to just embrace the spirit of Viva La Bam and shit on him. Like leave all the, like he is a proven bad person. You know, we didn't know that at the time. It's okay to laugh at him, but we also just like to get our jabs in. That's it. It's okay to laugh at this guy right now.
I don't feel bad about it. Comment all you want. I don't feel bad. I don't feel sorry for Don Vito.
No, not at all.
And the thing is, this episode, you know, you said at the open of the show that we were kind of going on an upswing. This one I had a hard time kind of thinking, is it going to fit into my good or bad pile? Like, I didn't know. And then I saw the slow motion destruction of the funhouse at the very end, where complete with slow motion sound effects too. Like, that's probably the best part, because it's like watching a monster movie. It's like Godzilla and King Kong here coming and fucking tearing this thing down. Phil's throwing kicks. I thought that was just, there's something about the way it's shot and the way it was produced that I got a kick out of.
Well, did you know, actually, I don't know, I actually looked this, because before we do the episodes, I like to look on the Wikipedia page, because some episodes have like a dedicated page to them. This is one of them. That scene was directed by Zack Snyder.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, there you go.
And I knew that.
Sense
I knew that because halfway through the slow motion, I had time to stop and think, "Holy fuck, are we still in slow motion? Is this Justice League? Give me the Snyder cut." As in, Snyder, cut it out. A little Full House reference for you.
Yeah, you know who that was? That was Bob Saget in Full House.
Chris, shut up. You know it's not. We proved you wrong on that. That is an inside family joke. Don't get into it now.
No, it was. I'm right.
Don't worry, guys. The slow motion does eventually end, and man, all I gotta say is it's been a hard day for Don Vito, but it's a good thing he's close friends with Ashton Kutcher. He'll just call him up. No problem. Punk those boys real good. Yes, Don Vito did refer to Ashton Kutcher as Ashton Kutcher. Thank you very much. Vito, eat some worms, you dirty son of a bitch, and try to run over the boys with your car, because this episode's coming to an end. And as a Blue Phil says, Vito won that one. I don't think so, Phil. I really
I don't know, man. He got away with some money. He spit a worm on Dunn.
It's true.
I mean he got drunk for free like a couple days before, the night before.
Got drunk for free. He got a free fucking house out of it. He got to break down a whole box of the ventilation that people probably spent all day putting together. I think Vito did win this episode.
And he has a new trapdoor for his victims.
Can we make this a thing?
Cellar.
Can we make this a thing where we start to say at the end of every episode of Viva La Bam, we say who the winner was, who the MVP was?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Let's do it.
Vito does not get my vote, but it seems like it's 2-1.
It is.
It is.
I'll have to give it to you, sick.
Who would it be then if it was
Who would it be for you?
Oh man, it's got to be Phil, the Blue Man Group, all the way. He was a gentleman about the whole thing. He played into what should have been, you know. I wouldn't want to talk to whoever did that to me for at least a day or two.
Yeah,
if
that's
they
an
painted
earnest
me blue
choice.
in my kitchen blue.
I like that.
He
choice.
did pretty
I
good.
like that. I like that.
And for anybody rubbing one out for Ape, I guess that's probably your MVP. Past, present, or future, whenever you might
got
feel
those
up to the
heavies.
challenge.
Got those heavies.
Big heavies, baby. But that was a pretty all right episode, I guess.
I loved it, man. I really had a lot of fun with it. It was good because normally I'm like writing, I'm watching these, and I'm doing notes, and I'm going up and doing notes. Like I literally had 3 just cliff notes on it, and I just got to sit and just enjoy the moments themselves. You know what I mean? It was fun just to watch, and I just knew we'd have a lot to talk about with a little bit less structure than normal. Yeah, and you were so brain fogged. You didn't think you were watching like a completely different show. You know, nope.
You weren't asking when I mentioned Ashton Kutcher. You weren't asking where's Hyde and Eric Foreman. You know, You did pretty good. I'm trying to compliment you. I'm just
Thank
doing
you.
a really shitty job at it. You did good, Chris.
I appreciate
for a guy
it.
who's got the COVID. I'm pretty impressed with your cognizance. You look all
Trying.
there. You know,
I'm
like when you
trying.
go visit your grandma and she's like 90 and there's like she's all there.
Is that
like,
what you
Chris,
expected from me today?
You're all there.
You're all there,
Yeah.
sonny boy.
Well, Chris, I did notice that you have a jar of Werther's beside you on the couch there, so
Hey,
I kind
Mikey.
of was expecting it.
Fuck you.
Okay, the visual joke once again. Chris points his camera towards a painting behind him where Johnny Depp from the movie Blow is giving the finger.
Well, yeah. Speaking of blow, boys, let's blow this episode. You can find us on Twitter, on Instagram at Jackast with a T pod. Got it? Good. Thank you for your support. We love all of you, and you guys are you're the best. I just want to say that you're the best, and I need someone to help me and just
I'll
please
say
steer the
this.
ship.
Happy New
Yeah?
Year. Happy New Year to everyone.
there it is.
2022. We had a solid
out of that
end to
one.
the year. Obviously wrapped up with Wild Boys. We're going to continue on with Viva La Bam until we finish off the season. And then, you know what? We may be pretty close to the release of Jackass Forever. We're getting some more restrictions, so who knows if they're going to push the release date of that back. I would fucking love to see that movie in a theater. But if not, then we're just going to have to do what we need to do. Maybe do another
maybe.
season of Wild Boys, another season of Viva La Bam. If you're out there listening and you're listening on the podcast and you haven't listened on YouTube, go check us out. If you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, check us out on the podcast and make sure to leave us a rating and review. We've been getting a lot of them coming in. It's really been helping us out. On Spotify, you can now leave a rating, so make sure to do that if you haven't already. Give us that 5-star rating, and as always, if we see some of those ratings and reviews, maybe we'll start reading those out on the episode. I always say that, and we never do it, but we will get to it.
That's a mighty promise. Bye. I'm Jason Wellwood.
Bye, I'm Chris and Aaronworth.
Bye, I'm Mikey Aaronworth, and this has been Jackast.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Get into it!
This was a Press X for Sound audio production.